AKA Patters, here it is. This was such a random find. Bring the Thunder, Dynamite Entertainment. I am a huge fan of Alex Ross and his Diamond Entertainment, like we'll call it phase or era. This book though, it was almost like I remember seeing it. I came across it in my local comic shop. It was $6. I got all 4 issues, researched it because I really don't like to spend my money without a little bit of research. And I researched, when I got into this, I went back. I had to buy it because this essentially is a film pitch. And we're dealing with a deeper issue here. We're dealing with Alex Ross, who is maybe like the greatest artist historian that this industry has ever seen. I'm on record of saying that Alex Ross is the greatest living comic book artist, creator, cover artist, however you want to fraction his contributions to comic books off. He is the greatest of that. When Alex Ross talks about and he speaks about characters, you see this on his Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. I believe he has like a media company that helps him with these. But for example, like Alex Ross he can sit down and he can talk to you. He can discuss Thanos or War Machine, and his opinions on those characters carry a little bit more gravity than your run-of-the-mill comic book artist. He is, through the marrow, through the veins, through the membrane of his body, he is a comic book historian. And along the way, he's contradicted himself. I remember him saying he would never want to do anything with Cable and Deadpool, and he hated that era of comics, and he created Magog from Kingdom Come as a mockery of the 90s comic book movement. He's since then has, he backpedaled a lot of that, but then again, the guy's been working nonstop since he broke into the industry, and you kind of have to, you run out of things to work on. That I believe he's done every single one of his dream projects. But this here, we're dealing with a bigger issue here. Bring the Thunder by Dynamite Entertainment. This is set up as a film pitch. This is in collaboration with a film company. They got Alex Ross involved to almost like package it. It's Alex Ross's character design, it's his plot, and he's like nurturing the story along the way. He did this with Kirby Genesis and Kurt Busiek. That is a perfection version of what we're about to flip through here. But the larger issue, and this is where there's a little bit of a duality. Can a comic book historian, as vocal as Alex Ross, can he create a book that's not really intended to be a great comic? This is intended to be a great idea, to sell an idea, to build financing for something else. And I really feel like, for example, if this got made, let's say this hit the stratosphere and it got made into a movie and it stars Denzel Washington or Will Smith or whoever else, okay? But the point I'm getting at, if this idea, if this property ascended into the stratosphere, what we would get is a book that people would return to that we know wouldn't have much in common with the movie, and this wouldn't help sell more of this book, nor would it help sell more of other comic books. See, the big idea is when comic book properties hit the lexicon, when they hit the culture, they drive people into the comic shops, and that dollar goes around. They might come in for Captain America, but they're spending their money on Winter Soldier or something else. And that's why it's important for some of these evergreen characters to constantly get good material and products pumped through them, because Captain America does lead to other sales. That's the fun theory, but the practice, we kind of understand it doesn't really work and it doesn't really compute. This very idea of collaborating with a film studio to put a comic book out really reveals one of the true issues with American comics. I've been thinking about this comic video series coming up where I want to do basically like a sit-down discussion, with myself and all of you, my AKA Patters, but I want to reveal and dissect really what happened to American comic book industry and do a long form series, maybe 10 to 12 videos. It's going to go well over an hour, like 90 minutes, but do kind of like a detailed discussion and lay out the points of why even practices like this erode American comics, because they take away the incentive of kind of creating a great comic. We want our creators to almost like lust over their pages and lust over their work to create great comics. That's the only way the industry will grow. Everyone's trying to look for MacGuffin or trying to look for something a little bit quick. You don't get that. We need great books, and the idea of collaborating with film studios only dirties the pond. But this is still a book. This still has artwork, it has writing, it has covers. Let's do a little bit of a flip through, a little bit of a walkthrough. I'll introduce you guys to the story, and we'll take it from there. All right, AKA Patters, let's just get right into it. I had a coffee. I only have water near my desk. I don't know where my coffee went. All right, Bring the Thunder. So, basic premise. What's this guy's name? Hold up here. This guy's name. I always forget our main character's name. I got to know it. Wayne Russell. Okay, Wayne Russell. He fires this gun. He's getting sniped at. He's a military medic kind of, or like the unit that he's in. They're almost like a Navy SEALs, but they're medics. So when there's like a IUD or Hummer gets nuked out in the field near enemy lines, they have these like paratrooper medics that they kind of go into dangerous situations to potentially help people. Wayne Russell shoots this awesome, well-designed science fiction gun, and through shooting the gun, he transforms into a creature of sound. And then when he fires the gun at the end of this issue, we're transported to Chicago, where he grew up 1 year later. Now, along the way, we learn about his family. He gets a very poorly designed, poorly conceived body of armor to help direct his sonic powers. And the guy he shoots, the sniper, that's basically trying to kill him, also gets a piece of the power. Bring the Thunder. Now, look. This is set up very much like a movie poster, which I'm all for. But here's what Dynamite does, and this is twofold. If we're going to put blame to people, we have graphic designer and Josh Johnson, creative director. That's Josh Johnson. This is Josh Johnson's fault, because we have 4 covers here that don't really feel like they fit. That don't feel like that they're cohesive. I love the idea of pushing. If you're pushing this as a movie, lean into it. Give us 4 well-designed movie posters. Just do it. I think it would help validate the work. But we're kind of desperate here, even with the cover for issue 2. Cover for issue 3 is the best one, but I'm not really crazy over any of these covers outside number 3. I hate to say it, and we know I'm an Alex Ross fanboy. The logo also, so a lot of times when we do logos, you want things to be a manageable shape. Say it with me, manageable shape, meaning these kind of like rock and roll, rock of ages, like spikes or lightning strikes. They kind of go into the sonic theme of the character. They go into music being a part of the character's life, because we have a lot of commentary on music here. But it doesn't work great as a comic, and it doesn't work great as a title at the top of the book. It should really be Bring Thunder, and those should be like, it should be understated. I almost wanted to do a little project where I redesigned this logo. But here we go. So we start well. We start with this battle. We have all of these great captions, and we learn about almost like the love and the history of music from Wayne Russell, our main character. And we get some nicely effect or drawn artwork. I love the effects that we're getting here from our artist, Wilson Tortosa. Wilson Tortosa. We also got Jai Nitz. Jai Nitz does a good job. But we get this battle, we flash back, which is cool because like you see this and you're like, oh, like we're getting more of that in issue 4, clearly. So now we get into the origin. The paratroopers get deployed. They hit the rough spot. Now this is a little bit where the artwork does stumble a little bit, where we get into we're relying a little bit too much on the colorists here. We want more of these figures to blend into the horizon. They shouldn't be drawn. They should be developed a little bit more with shading and the ink. But here's our blown up Humvee. We got some guys down. We start getting sniped, and then our main dude, he gets hit. He gets hit in the leg. Where is it at? Right here. He's stumbling. Snipers on him. He just randomly finds an alien weapon. It's not an alien weapon. This is called Project Thunder. That's revealed kind of in issue 3. He fires Project Thunder. Again, nicely designed gun. And then boom, he transforms. And then we are in Chicago. He's naked. It's 1 year later. We do the Spawn thing. Right, Spawn was 5 years later. And then kind of like along the way, what happens within this issue, if you're creating comics, you kind of want your pages, just optically, to look a little bit like this, but you do want more captions, and you want maybe some more dialogue and a little bit more movement within the story, because the longer it takes someone to read your book, the more value that they get from it. Great cross-hatching here. So a lot of the head positions and almost like, I call this like the movement of the camera, where like the jawline should scoop down a little bit more going into the neck. It's so and so. I would say, like, again, but this is why you hire this guy for shots like this. But yeah, so we get our dude. He fights off these gangs. There's pretty good like gang commentary. There's pretty good inner city turmoil commentary in this. But really, what happens and where it lacks, it's not like we don't connect with the characters, and it's not like we don't feel for the characters. This reads a little bit too fast, and it reads a little bit too by the book. There's no shock on anything that happens. We know when they pull this guy out of the car to beat him up because they think this guy is the one that did the damage earlier. We know we're going to get a little bit of a put a sock over my head superhero moment. That is fine. And then, again, let's develop more of the character. Let's develop more of the power sets. They try and shoot him. He deflects the bullets, kind of like absorbs the bullets, sends out this giant sonic warning to the rest of the gangs. And then we have, we haven't been watched. Two of the gang guys, the gang leader, the gang tech guy, they're like, who is this guy? This is something. This is something different. We have to pay attention to this. But then they're being watched by the other guys, and then we get to reveal that Operation Thunder didn't go the way. So that's a great gotcha but not really. I'm being very sarcastic. Where let's do the binocular gag twice in 2 pages, and then here we go. We're in the field. We're testing our powers. We're developing our powers. He's being spied on sonically, and we see that he transforms into sound and can phase through trees. Everyone, keep in mind, I'm making this sound so much cooler than what it was reading it. The guy spying on him, the military dude spying on him, had escaped, and then we get like, oh my god, you crushed fruit, you're so dangerous. And then we get the gangster guys, and they're like, hey, let's figure out a way to kill this dude. This is tough. This scene here leads into something preposterous. But we go back to Afghanistan, death to Americans. Clearly the guy he shot is anti-American. He's part of the Taliban or whatever, but he's there. He's killing soldiers. Great effects. This is the good stuff here. Like these pages here are the good stuff. Not how we drew that card, by the way. But yeah, we cut at night. We cut at some markings, and it's like, hey, I gave the warning. What the hell are these guys doing? I'm gonna go find them. Where are they? So he hunts down the gangsters, breaks into their studio, because again, music is prevalent in this. There's a lot of talk about Grand Funk Railroad and David Bowie, which is good, right? But we kind of find out that the guys running the gang, they're actually like music producers, and they kind of hold down their talent, and they kind of just, they muscle their way around, we'll say. But I really do love the cross hatching here. Yeah, but then here we go. This is one of our big action sequences here. We get the gang armored up in soundproof wall, like soundproof wall paneling, and they wrap themselves up. Now, if this was a movie, you would just be like, I'm walking out of the theater. Like, what are we doing here? So they fight. You can guess who comes out on top there, and then he gets apprehended by the U.S. military. Everyone's using these sonic suits. This is somewhat of a good sequence where they kind of they're able to communicate to him with this LED screen or tablet, and we kind of see him give himself up, which we saw coming. We kind of saw that coming, because he's still a military guy. We don't know if these guys are evil yet, so they're military. And as you can tell, we know where we're heading, as issue 1 revealed. We're heading towards this, so let's just maybe get there. But basically his family's like, no, you're not doing this. And he's like, look, I don't have a choice. I just do not have a choice. So they fly, they take measurements, they outfit him in guys, Kirby Genesis is legit. But this armor design, it's just not fun. It's not comic book. It's just not there. When it's lighted like this, I'm on board. But Alex Ross couldn't even make it cool, and it's his own design. So we find our bad Sonic terrorists. We deploy. We get ready to fight. Here we go. Big reveal here, guys. It's just not there. It's not there. This is frustrating. I swear to God, I would say Alex Ross designed this on like a back of a napkin while on the phone doing something else that he'd much rather be doing. You know, the design of our villain, it's okay, but he's just like a raggedy dude, and I'm like, you know, like we can do more. We can do more. It's okay to ask for more, to want to do more with some of these ideas. They fight. Sonic Boom, Sonic Blast, and kind of like what happens is a little bit of the idea. What I kind of think is like they're maybe like absorbing one another, but he's able to hold the dude up long enough for them to shoot. They kind of shoot their own Sonic. It's a little bit hard to tell. So he gives them the thumbs up, and then they fire their weapons and nuke them essentially. But then here we go, and then he's like, hey, I don't have my powers anymore. And his doctor's friend, you don't have your powers anymore. And we end in such a wonderful movie fashion where there's a crime, our hero shows up, and then there you go, binocular gag again. We're done with this gag. If I ever see this gag again in comics, that'll be fine. But yeah, and then it's like, it isn't over. Roll credits, and we're done. So that is Bring the Thunder for Black History Month. I would love to redo this, by the way. I would love to redo this. I think these 4 issues is one Kirby Stan Lee issue of Fantastic Four. AKA Padders, thank you so much for joining me. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. Just to go a little bit back with that intro before we hit the drawing table. I didn't have the intent to even, like, I kind of sit down sometimes and I want to do quick points and quick discussions and almost like quick video drops. But sometimes like these points are so prevalent in my mind, I just want to be able to express them to all of you. And I know a lot of you are listening. I know a lot of you are paying attention. And don't get fooled. Don't get fooled by the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and the Crows and even the Spawns of the comic book world. Those were really set out to be properties within comics at the time, and they ascended to something else through a long series of circumstances. Even for something like Spawn that had a quick print to screen like ratio. But even something like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, I mean, like there's nothing but documentaries about the Turtles now that detail how tough it was for that movie, for that cartoon series to kind of get in front of eyeballs. If you're creating comics, focus and create great comics. That's the only thing you can do. That's the only thing you should be doing. And the idea of collaborating with a larger film studio should seem like an LOL to you. Even if they're, look, I get it. Some of the money's good. The fantasies are there. But if you make great comics, great things will happen from that. AKAPAD here. I love you so much. Subscribe, support, leave a comment. We're rocking and rolling. Let's go.
I know you told your friend you're not okay, and tell me what's wrong and why you never said you felt that way. And guess you're trying to stay strong and fake a smile until I look away. But I've known you too long, it hurts to watch your blue eyes fade to gray as you fade away.